Have you ever wondered why you never got excited about football, even when everyone around you seemed obsessed? Here's the shocking truth. Nearly 40% of adults admit they don't enjoy watching any sports at all, yet most of them feel pressured to pretend otherwise. If you've ever sat on a couch during the big game, secretly counting the minutes until it's over, you are not alone. And there's a powerful psychological reason behind it. I'll be honest with you. I used to think something was wrong with me because I didn't care about football. Growing up, everyone around me lived for game day. Neighbors barbecuing, friends wearing jerseys, families shouting at the TV. Meanwhile, I felt nothing. And for years, I tried to fit in. But the moment I started studying behavioral psychology, everything clicked. And I realized it wasn't a flaw, it was a trait, a pattern, a personality signal. And in this video, you're about to learn exactly what that signal is. Today, you'll discover the real psychology behind why some people don't enjoy football, the personality traits, the emotional wiring, the social identity factors, and even the childhood influences that shape this preference. By the time you finish this video, you won't just understand yourself better, you'll understand people in your life on a deeper, more compassionate level. And if you apply what you learn, you might even unlock a new level of confidence in who you are. Here's the first truth reveal. Not watching football is often a sign of independence, not disinterest. Think about it. Football fandom is heavily tied to social identity. People root for teams because it gives them belonging, community, a shared language. But if you're someone who never felt the need to fit in, you don't chase group identity, you create your own. That's autonomy. According to social psychologist Henri Tajfel, social identity is one of the strongest drivers of group behavior. But those who resist it often value freedom over conformity. Picture this. You're at a gathering. Everyone is wearing the team colors. The food is themed. The TV is blasting. But instead of feeling energized, you feel disconnected. That's not a flaw. It's a psychological signal that your identity isn't shaped by collective excitement, but by internal values and introspection. Actionable insight. The next time you feel out of place, remember this. Your preferences are not a weakness. They're a reflection of your inner independence. Here's where it gets interesting. People who dislike watching football often have different sensory and emotional needs. Football is loud, crowded, chaotic, high stimulus. For someone who thrives on calm and depth, that environment feels overwhelming, not exciting. A study published in the Journal of Research in Personality found that introverts experience overstimulation faster and more intensely than extroverts. Let me paint a picture. You're at a sports bar. The crowd erupts. Everyone is yelling. Drinks are spilling. The energy is so intense it's almost vibrating. Most people feel alive in that environment. You feel drained. Why? Because your brain processes external noise differently. Actionable insight. Instead of forcing yourself into high-stimulus environments, lean into what energizes you. Meaningful conversations, personal hobbies, quiet moments.
That's not being antisocial. It's understanding your emotional biology. Most people watch football because it requires zero effort. You just sit and react. But if you naturally prefer thinking, analyzing, creating, or learning, football feels empty. This is where the cognitive preference theory comes in. Some minds crave stimulation, not loud stimulation, but intellectual stimulation. Thinkers, introspectives, creatives, they need a narrative, a dilemma, a lesson, a transformation. A game with repetitive patterns doesn't satisfy that mental itch. In fact, neuroscientist Daniel Kahneman explains that the brain is wired for meaning, not noise. Imagine you have 2 hours free. You could watch the game or learn something new, build something, improve yourself. For many people like you, the choice is obvious. Actionable insight. Don't feel guilty for choosing purpose over passive entertainment. It's a sign that your mind is wired for growth. But here's what most people overlook. Whether you enjoy football often depends on whether you were introduced to the culture as a child. If your family didn't watch sports, or if your childhood memories involved different types of bonding, books, games, calm family time, hobbies, those experiences shaped your sense of belonging. So football simply doesn't feel like home. Actionable insight. Instead of wondering why you're different, ask yourself this: what activities shaped your comfort and identity growing up? That's where your emotional roots are.
Here's the bold statement. People who don't enjoy football often have high emotional sensitivity. Football is competitive, aggressive, high emotion. For some people, it feels thrilling. But for sensitive or empathetic individuals, it feels chaotic or even stressful. There's a study from Dr. Elaine Aron on highly sensitive people, showing that emotional intensity and overstimulation often go together. Someone with high empathy doesn't enjoy watching others get injured, yelled at, or emotionally crushed. Picture this. The crowd cheers when a player gets tackled, but instead of excitement, you cringe. That's empathy. That's sensitivity. It's not weakness. It's emotional intelligence. Actionable insight? Your emotional wiring is a strength. Let it guide you, not shame you. And finally, people who don't watch football tend to live by values, not trends. You don't care what everyone else thinks is fun. You care what feels meaningful. Football culture is built on tradition, social bonding, and entertainment. But if your values revolve around creativity, learning, family connection, or peace, football doesn't align with your inner compass. Imagine the world telling you, "It's game day, be excited!" But your mind quietly says, "I'd rather grow. I'd rather create. I'd rather spend time on something that matters." That's clarity, not rebellion. Actionable insight? Trust your values.
They're the compass that shapes your life. Let's bring it all together. If you're someone who doesn't watch football, you're not strange or broken. You're simply wired differently, emotionally, cognitively, socially, and psychologically. Maybe you value independence. Maybe you avoid overstimulation. Maybe your mind craves meaning over excitement. Maybe your childhood shaped different emotional roots. Or maybe your empathy makes competition feel draining. Or maybe you simply choose your own path. Owning these traits doesn't separate you from the world. It strengthens your understanding of yourself. So, here's your takeaway. There is nothing wrong with being different. There is power in understanding why. Your preferences tell a story. And when you listen to that story, you become the author of your own identity. Which part of today's video resonated with you the most? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more psychology and self-growth videos like this, consider subscribing to Think Smarter today. Not someday, not later, now.